This call is now being recorded.
Good afternoon to all. I am Dr. Prasad Babu, Assistant Regional Director, IGNOU Regional Center, Vijayawada. Already we have planned for 3 days counseling sessions for MA Psychology second year, Counseling Psychology specialization. So yesterday MPCE 21 was completed, and today MPCE 22. Counseling Psychology Specialization Paper 2. Dr.
Assessment.
Madam is there. She is going to give the outlines of the MPCE 22. Not teaching class. This is only counseling. Counseling means only whatever doubts you have, Madam will clarify. But however, Madam is giving just brief about the MPCE 22, outlines of the MPCE 22. It's not a teaching class. Some students are sending information or comments on our videos. People are not going through the study material. Generally they are teaching, so this is only general teaching. It's not teaching for the learning material. This is only counseling. Whatever doubts you have, you can raise and your madam will clarify. But it's not possible like that. Because of that, madam is giving the brief outlines of the MPCE 22 within 2 hours time. And lastly, 5 minutes or 10 minutes, if time is there, if you ask any questions, madam will clarify your doubts. Even last 10 minutes, I will be also there. If you have any doubts, we can clarify. And regarding tomorrow class, we are postponing to Sunday afternoon 3 to 6 because of already prior occupied activities there for madam tomorrow in the university. Because of that, tomorrow afternoon session MPCE 23 will be postponed to Sunday, that is on 6th evening 3 to 5. And 6th morning already we have internship project guidance session 11 to 1 o'clock. So this is the information. Madam will take over the session. Thank you, madam.
Okay, sir. Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you. I think it is audible to everybody. Is it audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Is it audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So yesterday we have covered some of the things because those theories are important. I have given a clear picture of the theoretical approach, which is necessary for all the papers. Hence, I have given the clear cut. Because of that, I am not able to complete all the 4 volumes. Because everywhere you will get this psychoanalytical theory, behavioristic theory. These theories are very important. Even in the second paper, third paper, in all papers, you are going to have the things. Hence, I have given, they have taken long time for completing those theories. That's why I'm not able to give you the overview of the entire paper. But still, if you are having any doubts, you can come out with the doubts at the end. Now, today we are going to take the second paper of counseling psychology, that is MPCE 22, assessment of counseling and guidance. Assessment of counseling and guidance. So yesterday we had a clear idea about what guidance is, what counseling is. Now we are going to think about the psychological assessment. Assessment means we are measuring. So here, after conducting the counseling, before conducting the counseling, I have given you the steps in the beginning, like that rapport building, relationship building. After that, you will have a problem formulation. After formulating the problem, you have to think about the assessment, what you have to assess. Even in, if you compare it with the medical profession also, they will do some preliminary interview with the patient, and after that they will ask some of the questions, and later on they will go for assessment. They will ask you to go for this diagnostic test. Similarly, even in psychology, we go for assessment after conducting the preliminary interview with the client. You will have, and formulating the problem, you will have some idea. Taking the case history, you will get an idea about the problem with which the client is suffering from. Hence, then you will go for assessment. So we are talking about the clear-cut ideas and definitions of what exactly the assessment is means. There is two words, testing and assessment. What does it exactly means like that? Here, I am talking about the psychological assessment. It is assessment means it is a comprehensive process of collecting information from multiple sources. Comprehensive process of collecting information from multiple sources is called assessment. Assessment is not one source. We are collecting the information from different sources. One from the client himself for some of the problems, from the parents, from the teachers, sometimes from the family members, sometimes from the friends, and after that taking the interviews from that. So it is formal, informal, qualitative and quantitative. All type of information we will collect from multiple sources and then you will assess. So this process is called psychological assessment. So assessment includes multiple, we are collecting information from multiple resources regarding the problem with which the client is suffering from. So this is called, the purpose is, why do you collect information from all the sources? Is for conducting counseling, for diagnosis, and suppose if it is a career information, career planning, or to predict the future. Whatever is the reason, we have to assess the client. So usually for when we are talking about the counseling and diagnosis, we have to assess from multiple sources. One source is not enough. Even the medical profession, they used to collect information from multiple sources. Similarly, we also collect information from multiple sources for conducting counseling. So this is the, what is the process of assessment? How do you assess that? What is the process? So first, yesterday I told you about the different steps in counseling. The first step is developing a rapport with the individual, with the client, and after that developing the relationship and understanding the problem from the client, and then formulating a problem. After this, formulating a problem, what exactly the clients want, what is the goal of our counseling? There must be some goal. This is the thing which I want to achieve, is the goal. The clients want this. Yesterday I told you the example like he is having 40 marks, his goal is getting 70 marks. Similarly, now he is not able to adapt himself to the family. The goal is to adapt himself for the family. So like that, you have to understand the goal first. After formulating the goal, to understand that, you have to identify the tools and techniques. So this is the third step. After getting the goal, formulating the problem, you have to understand the goal. After that, you have to identify the tools and techniques needed for assessing the individual depending upon the problem. What are the tools required? And you will collect data from all these resources. What you wanted, you think that will help for getting this, for reaching these goals. You will collect information from all the resources, data you will collect, and you will interpret the specific assessment data. You will interpret the data, and you will integrate the data from all sources. You can't see the data from each source differently, independently. We have to integrate the data from all sources and then come with a solution. So data collected from interview, from tests, from the parents, from different sources, all these things to be integrated. And then you have to formulate the assessment information, and then you have to reframe the goal. This is the process of assessment. So assessment is very important to have a clear cut idea regarding the problem, and also to approach the counseling activity. So this is the process of assessment. Collecting data from different sources and integrating the data and applying to the, and how to analyzing that and applying for getting your goal, achieving your goal. So this is the process of assessment. How do you assess? Usually for assessing methods, we will use interviews. So interview is the first basic method for assessing an individual. Whether you go to a doctor or a counselor, the preliminary interview is the basic, very, very important thing. How you conduct the preliminary interview. This is most important area. Half of the information we will get through our preliminary interview. So in psychology, in counseling aspect, we have to understand there are interview means. I will explain you what interview, and in a brief manner. Interview is a face-to-face conversation with a purpose. With a purpose. We are talking with other person with a purpose. That means to get the information. This is the definition of interview. There are interviewer is there, and interviewee, that who is undergoing, that is the client, and the interviewing process. These three are important in interview. One is interviewer, that means the counselor. The counselor has a great impact. This is interview is subjective. The words, the conversation, the looks, the type of his non-verbal and verbal behavior plays an important role in conducting the interview. That is interviewer's role. Interviewee is the client from which we are conducting the information. And interviewing process. There are different processes of conducting interviews. There are mainly two types of process you will come across. One is structured interviews, and other is unstructured interviews. Structured interviews and unstructured interviews. In the structured interviews, you will, before conducting the interview itself, you will formulate the questions, whatever you want to ask in the interview, and then you will follow the same sequence, and you will ask the client. In the unstructured interview, you don't formulate any questions prior to the interview. You are having an objective only in your mind. You will go on asking questions till you get the information. There is no structuring in this. So these two types of methods the counselor can adapt. One is structured interview or unstructured interview. There are some advantages and disadvantages in both the things. In structured interview, you will limit that. Sometimes if he can give some more information, we are not going to ask about any other information which he is able to tell. Whereas in unstructured interview, sometimes we may miss some of the things, or the counselor may lead some of the questions. Lead questions may happen. So because it is not structured. So there are, in both the things, there are structure advantages as well as disadvantages. The success of the interview totally depends upon the counselor's skills. So this is because this is the key to the counseling. Based on this information only, you are going to counsel the client. So based on this only, you are going to counsel the client. Hence, this interview is very, very important. This is the first thing. And then coming to that interview, the other method is observation method. Observation method is also important to the counselor. He has to observe verbal, non-verbal mannerisms, his emotional states, how he is responding, his physical status, how he is looking, how he is communicating. All this you have to make observations. Observation is another key for counseling. You have to observe the person while giving the information. What is his emotional state? What is his language? What is his thought process? You can assess the thought process. You can assess the language. You can assess the emotional state. You can assess so many verbal as well as non-verbal things while doing observation. This is the second source from which you also collect information. The third source is about the case study. Case study is I'm not going to tell you about all the details of the case study. In your internship, you have to collect 10 cases. For all this, the steps are given one by one in a format. Case study, there is a format like age, sex, socioeconomic, educational qualifications, all everything like that will be there in the case study along with his observations and analysis. After getting the case study, you have to analyze. After your observations to be analyzed and your interview to be analyzed, and integrate all the information you got in the three sources, and you have to go for counseling. So this is about the assessment methods. So this is about other assessment methods. I think you are clear about this. Then coming to, am I fast or shall I slow down?
No, ma'am. Okay.
Okay, okay, it's okay. It's
This is
okay.
fine.
So,
It's fine, ma'am.
oh, okay, good. So you are
Okay, ma'am.
able, to understand what exactly the assessment is. The another part in assessment is testing. There is a difference between testing and assessment. Assessment is a comprehensive information from all multiple sources, whereas testing is you are using one test and you are getting one information. So mostly we use tests which are standardized tests. Like that, there are number of tests which are available. Testing is a narrow term where we are looking only one aspect of the behavior. Like there are ability tests. You might be knowing all intelligence tests are ability tests. Along with this, there are number of ability tests to know your abilities. There are personality tests to know your personality, means some of the characteristics. So they will select the personality test based on the preliminary interview. What test to be used? And then aptitude tests. Aptitude tests. You might be knowing there are two terms which mostly people will get confused. Aptitude and attitude. AP. Aptitude is the inborn capacity of an individual. Inborn capacity. Aptitude. SP Balasubramaniam is having inborn music, inborn capacity. He is having aptitude. Some of the sports people are having aptitude in sports. Attitude is a psychological readiness to react to some of the events, people, or situations. It is the readiness of the individual. Attitude is prior to reacting. It's called attitude. Based on our attitude only, we will perform. Our behavior will be based on your attitude. Some people, I will tell you just a small example, and we'll go to the other thing. Attitude means some people may say these counseling classes are waste. May think even though they are free, they don't attend because everything is there in the textbooks. Why should we attend this? This is the attitude, readiness. If I am having that readiness, I don't try to attend this. So attitude first and behavior next. So attitude is the readiness of the individual. So aptitude is the inborn capacity of the individual. If you understand the inborn capacity, if you give them the proper training, they will reach the highest position in that particular area. So aptitude, that is, now we are seeing so many children having lot of musical aptitude in the competitions. If they are trained properly, they will settle very well. So this is aptitude, attitude. Here, there are certain aptitude tests, attitude tests, interest tests, neuropsychological tests, and projective tests are there, and observational tests are there. There are number of tests which are available, which we will also use in testing. Testing is the part of assessment. Assessment is bigger thing. All the multiple sources we will collect information. Testing is one such source. So where we use psychological tests. These are the tests which are available, and we will use these tests to assess a person. So assessment lo ఈ టెస్టింగ్ అనేది ఒక పార్ట్ అండి. It is not everything. We don't give what is that, counseling based only on the test results. We will give counseling based on the assessment results, not on test results. Remember it. మనకి ఇప్పుడు కొంతమంది డాక్టర్లు మన ఏమంటారు డయాగ్నోస్టిక్ రిజల్ట్స్ చూసి ట్రీట్మెంట్ ఇస్తున్నారు. దట్ ఇస్ నాట్ రైట్. దిస్ ఇస్ వన్ పార్ట్. The other factors should also be taken into consideration, assess, and then give the treatment. This, like that, like diagnostic test, our testing is also one part of assessment. Okay, so this is about psychological tests. So what type of psychological test we have to use? This is a big question for a counselor. మనం రోజు పేపర్లో చూస్తున్నాం, నీ టెస్ట్ ఏంటి, నీ ఏమనాలి, నీ కమ్యూనికేషన్ స్కిల్ టెస్ట్ చేసుకో, ఇంకో టెస్ట్ చేసుకో, ఇంకో టెస్ట్ చేసుకో, రోజు పేపర్లో వస్తున్నాయి. We are not supposed to use them. They are not. If you want to use as a counselor, professional counselor, if you want a test, it should have certain characteristics. The first characteristic is reliability. That means only the standardized tests only we have to use. That means standardized tests are being published. Those are only the scientific tests. పబ్లిష్డ్ టెస్ట్లను మాత్రమే యూజ్ చేయాలి. వితౌట్ పబ్లిషింగ్ అండ్ వితౌట్ స్టాండర్డైజేషన్ వీఆర్ నాట్ సపోజ్ టు యూజ్ ఎనీ టెస్ట్. ఓకే, దీంట్లో దెర్ ఆర్ సర్టన్ సైకలాజికల్ ఏజెన్సీస్ విచ్ ఆర్ పబ్లిషింగ్ ద టెస్ట్ ఆఫ్ రీసెర్చ్. సైకాలజీ డిపార్ట్మెంట్స్ వాళ్ళు రీసెర్చ్ చేసి ఫైండింగ్స్ ని దే ఆర్ పబ్లిషింగ్ ఇన్ యాజ్ సైకలాజికల్ టెస్ట్. అవే తీసుకోవాలి. ఫస్ట్ నెంబర్ 1, దట్ ఈస్ ద ఫస్ట్ క్రైటీరియా. సెకండ్ టెస్ట్, the test, even though you prepare the test, you have to establish the reliability. ఇది ఫస్ట్ క్యారెక్టర్ అనమాట. ఏ టెస్ట్ కైనా ఫస్ట్ క్యారెక్టర్ స్టాండర్డైజ్ చేసి ఉండాలంటే పబ్లిష్ చేసిన టెస్ట్లు మాత్రమే మనం యూజ్ చేయాలి. సెకండ్ థింగ్ ఈస్ ఇట్ షుడ్ హ్యావ్ రిలయబిలిటీ. రిమెంబర్, రిలయబిలిటీ మీన్స్ ఇట్ ఈస్ ద కన్సిస్టెన్సీ ఆఫ్ ద టెస్ట్. Consistency of the test. If you use the test and you will get a result of something, ఒక 30 or 40 score వచ్చింది అంటున్నాం. If I use some test now, if I use the same test again, it should be a little bit 31, 32 రావాలి, కానీ హ్యూమన్ వేరియేషన్ తప్ప. ఒకసారి 30 వచ్చి ఒకసారి 50 వచ్చిందంటే, ఒకసారి ఇంట్రోవర్ట్ అని ఒకసారి ఎక్స్ట్రోవర్ట్ అని వచ్చిందంటే, పర్సన్ ఈజ్ నాట్ రాంగ్, దిస్ టెస్ట్ ఈజ్ రాంగ్. దిస్ టెస్ట్ ఈజ్ రాంగ్. మనం చూస్తాం చూడండి, చిన్నగా మనం కూడా తెలిసింది, మామూలు కాన్వర్జేషన్ లో కూడా మనం రైల్వే స్టేషన్ లో వెయిట్ చూసుకుంటుంటాం అందరు. దట్స్ వన్ ఆఫ్ ద, ఏమంటే ఒక తమాషగా చూసుకుంటాం అందరం, టైం ఉండే కొద్దీ చూసుకుంటాం. మనం గుంటూరులో వెయిట్ చూసుకున్నాం, ఏదో ఒక వెయిట్ 70 అని వచ్చింది. మళ్ళీ హైదరాబాద్ చూసుకోగానే 65 వస్తే మనం 5 కిలోలు తగ్గిపోయామా ట్రైన్ లో ట్రావెల్ చేసి? తగ్గలేదు కదా. ద టెస్ట్, ది ఇన్స్ట్రుమెంట్ సమ్వేర్, దిస్ ఇన్స్ట్రుమెంటో ఆ ఇన్స్ట్రుమెంటో రాంగ్. సిమిలర్లీ, reliability లేకపోతే test is wrong. So we have to use this. Reliability means consistency of the test. There are a number of methods to assess the consistency of the test. మీకు మీ టెక్స్ట్ బుక్ లో ఉన్నాయండి. టెస్ట్ రీటెస్ట్ రిలయబిలిటీ, స్ప్లిట్ హాఫ్ రిలయబిలిటీ. దీస్ ఆర్ ది మెథడ్స్ ఆఫ్ ఎస్టాబ్లిషింగ్ రిలయబిలిటీ. దెర్ ఆర్ డిఫరెంట్ మెథడ్స్ ఆఫ్ ఎస్టాబ్లిషింగ్ ఐఎమ్ నాట్ గోయింగ్ ఇన్ టు దట్. అదొక్కటి చెప్తేనే మనకి 2 గంటలు అయిపోతుంది. సో ఆ మెథడ్స్ అన్ని కూడా ఉన్నాయి రిలయబిలిటీకి. సో రిలయబిలిటీ ఉండాలి టెస్ట్ కి, స్టాండర్డైజేషన్ ఉండాలి, రిలయబిలిటీ ఉండాలి. ద నెక్స్ట్ థింగ్ ఈజ్ ఇట్ షుడ్ బి వ్యాలిడ్. వ్యాలిడిటీ అంటే ఒక మీనింగ్ చెప్తాను నేను, దెన్ హౌ టు ఎస్టాబ్లిష్ వ్యాలిడిటీ అనేది మీరు టెక్స్ట్ లో చదువుకోండి. దెర్ ఆర్ డిఫరెంట్ మెథడ్స్ ఆఫ్ ఎస్టాబ్లిషింగ్ వ్యాలిడిటీ. వాట్ ఈస్ వ్యాలిడిటీ? Validity means whether the test is measuring what it is intended to measure or not. What is it intended to measure? Suppose I have given a test to measure the sociability of a person. We have to establish the validity that whether this test is measuring sociability or any other social factor. That should be established prior to standardizing the test. So that is called validity. There are different methods of construct validity, concurrent validity, like that. Different methods are there to establish validity. అంటే మన టెస్ట్ ప్రకారం వీడు ఇంటెలిజెంట్ అని వచ్చాడు, మన ఇంటెలిజెన్స్ టెస్ట్ ప్రకారం. రియల్ లైఫ్ లో కూడా ఈజ్ ఇంటెలిజెంట్. then you can say our test is right. That is one way. And there are some other methods also are there for validity also. And validity and reliability are measured by statistical measure coefficient of correlation తో మనం మెజర్ చేస్తాం ఈ రెండింటిని, రిలయబిలిటీని వ్యాలిడిటీని రెండింటిని కూడా కోఎఫిషియంట్ ఆఫ్ కార్రిలేషన్ తో మెజర్ చేస్తామండి. ఇఫ్ ఇట్ ఈస్ మోర్ దెన్ 5 దే ఆర్ ఫ్రమ్ ద రిలయబిలిటీ మనం ఎస్టాబ్లిష్ చేస్తాం, లేకపోతే తీసేస్తాం. అది ఇంకా దాని గురించి ఇంకా చెప్పనండి, కోఎఫిషియంట్ ఆఫ్ కార్రిలేషన్ గురించి. సో దీస్ టూ ఆర్ మెజర్డ్ ఇన్ బై కోఎఫిషియంట్ ఆఫ్ కార్రిలేషన్. మీరు స్టాటిస్టిక్స్ లో చదువుంటారు. దెన్ థర్డ్ థింగ్ ఈస్ దే షుడ్ హ్యావ్ నామ్స్. ఎవ్రీ టెస్ట్ దే షుడ్ హ్యావ్ నామ్స్. నామ్స్ అంటే ఈ టెస్ట్ ఈ ఏజ్ గ్రూప్ కి, ఈ రూరల్ ఏరియాకా అర్బన్ ఏరియాకా, ఇటువంటి చిల్డ్రన్ కి ఎడ్యుకేటెడా ఇల్లిటరేటా మేలా ఫిమేలా ఫర్ హూమ్ ఇట్ షుడ్ బి యూస్డ్ అనేటువంటిది నామ్స్ ఉంటాయి ప్రతి టెస్ట్ కి. we have to use the test only if the norms coincide with whom we are conducting the test. ఈ టెస్ట్ ఎవరికి ఇస్తున్నామో ఈ నామ్స్ ప్రకారం ఉన్న వాళ్ళకి మాత్రమే ఆ టెస్ట్ ఇవ్వాలి, రైట్? సో దిస్ ఈస్ అనదర్ ఇంపార్టెంట్ క్యారెక్టరిస్టిక్స్ ఆఫ్ టెస్ట్. బేస్డ్ ఆన్ దిస్ యూ హ్యావ్ టు చూస్ ఎ టెస్ట్ which is appropriate based on your problem. So this is, I told you about assessment. Assessment లో పార్టే టెస్టింగ్. టెస్టింగ్ లో ఏమేమి టెస్ట్లు ఉన్నాయి, ఎలాంటి టెస్ట్ ని యూజ్ చేయాలి, వాట్ ఆర్ ది క్యారెక్టరిస్టిక్స్ ఆఫ్ ఎ గుడ్ టెస్ట్. వన్ ఈ స్టాండర్డైజేషన్, రిలయబిలిటీ, వ్యాలిడిటీ అండ్ నామ్స్. ఈ 4 క్యారెక్టర్స్ ఉంటేనే ఆ టెస్ట్ ని మనం యూజ్ చేయాలి. దట్ ఈస్ అన్ అప్రాప్రియేట్ టెస్ట్. సో ఇంకా కౌన్సిలింగ్ లో మనం వాట్ ఆర్ ది అదర్ థింగ్స్ విచ్ యూ హ్యావ్ టు టేకన్ కేర్ ఆఫ్ ఈస్ అబౌట్ ద అంబియన్స్ ఆఫ్ ది అంబియన్స్ ఆఫ్ ద ఎన్వైరన్మెంట్. ఎలా ఉండాలి, అంబియన్స్ ఇస్ వెరీ ఇంపార్టెంట్. ఎక్కడ పడితే అక్కడ కౌన్సిలింగ్, ఎలా పడితే అలా కౌన్సిలింగ్ చేయకూడదు. ది అంబియన్స్ ఆఫ్ ది సరౌండింగ్స్ ఎన్వైరన్మెంట్ ఈస్ వెరీ వెరీ ఇంపార్టెంట్. ఇక్కడ వేర్ యూ హ్యావ్ టు కండక్ట్ కౌన్సిలింగ్ ఈస్, దిస్ ఈస్ ఆల్సో ఇంపార్టెంట్. దిస్ ఈస్ ఆల్సో, రోడ్డు మీద మనకు కనిపిస్తే రోడ్డు మీద కౌన్సిలింగ్ చేయకూడదు, ఎక్కడో గొడవ ప్లేస్ లో కౌన్సిలింగ్ చేయకూడదు. ఎన్వైరన్మెంట్ ఈస్ వెరీ వెరీ ఇంపార్టెంట్. దట్ మీన్స్ the client should be relaxed and peaceful. Both the client and the counselor, both of them should be relaxed and peaceful. Then only the counseling will be effective. Hence, the first thing is you should have a positive environment. A positive environment. In the positive environment, right? Relaxed client and ready to approach the counselor, and counselor should also be ready. So you should have environment should be like that, and a rapport. And the second thing is you have to develop the rapport and relationship so that the environment will be comfortable environment. If you develop the relationship and rapport, then also the and sometimes you should have a quiet place, ventilation should be there, and the mindset of the client and the mindset of the counselor is very important. These are the conditions, prior conditions which are required for conducting a counseling activity. Counseling activity ekkada padithe akkada ela padithe ala cheyakudu. It is a professional activity which can be conducted only with this ambience, where there is a positive environment and the mindset, the positive mindset of the client, positive mindset, and a relationship is built, and it is a relaxed room with a quiet room with a lot of ventilation, and the arrangement of room itself plays a very important role in counseling. So this is about the ambience. Then we are talking about the you have to, while conducting the counseling itself, you have to determine certain aspects. What I have to do in the counseling? So you have to determine what aspects to be covered in counseling. This has to be determined prior to the counseling activity. So based on the case history, I told you the case history pro forma you are going to get in your internship, as well as it is there in your textbook also, in your material also, which I am not going to, nothing to explain, only the statements what you have to collect, educational qualifications, family background, etc., etc., etc. So thus case history to be, you have to collect the process of assessment, determinants of the aspects to be covered. No? You have to case history you have to take, you have to understand the problem, and then you also understand, these are the very important determinants. Clients coping with the counseling. Clients, there are some rigid clients. They don't answer. They don't respond to the counselor. Rigid clients. మీరు ఎన్నిసార్లు ఏమడిగినా వాళ్ళు నోరిప్పరు, జవాబు చెప్పరు. What to do with that rigid clients? So you have to clients coping skill, and also you have to understand the coping skill. This is from the counselor side. You also understand the coping skills. You also estimate the coping skills of the client, and also coping to his environment, coping skills of the client, and also what are the strengths he is having. If you ask a simple question of, if you ask about his success story, one of his success stories, we can assess the strengths of the person, or you can ask the person, they will directly tell you what are the strengths they are having. What are the strengths? That is the important thing. One is case history and getting all the things, and the second thing is you have to estimate the client's coping skills and his strengths, and also you have to determine what are the areas to be assessed. What are the areas to be assessed? You should have a plan for this. These are the determination of the plan, determination of the client. What are the aspects to be covered? What are the aspects to be covered? I have to give this test to find his strengths. I have to ask this question to know his coping skills. I have to do this for understanding the area, what area I have to assess, to find the area of assessment. And these are the important things you have to take care of. These are the determinants. Prior to conducting the counseling, you have to know all the things. Okay? This is also in the assessment process. So you have to do all this in the assessment process. Then basically we use 3 methods, I told you already, for assessment. One is interview, second one is a case study, case history, third is testing, and testing we use some of the tests. These are the 3 important. I told you about testing, the norms and all the tests. There are so many times these things are repeated again and again in your material. You go through them. If there are repetition, you understand them and you put them aside and you keep them for examination preparation, I am telling you. If there is a repetition, already you have studied somewhere. So you can write that, the same thing. If you write about reliability, wherever they are given reliability. Case study is given so many areas. Case study, the steps are same wherever you do. Okay? So this is about the first book on which all these are given. Coming to the second issue. In the second book, they have given you, the first unit is about the interview method, case history method, where they have given all the steps in case history, and also about testing. Different types of tests they have given. Intelligence tests you are having, ability tests, personality tests, and what are the normal standardized personality tests, list of MMBI, like that. Standard personality tests are there. Similarly, standard intelligence tests are there. There are tests for children. Like I think you have studied all these tests in your first year cognitive psychology. In the chapter on intelligence, some of the tests. Personality, in some of the tests you studied about the MMPI, projective tests, all this you studied. So this second unit, second book, first unit is given on interview, structured interview, unstructured interview, how this interviewer, that means the counselor has to prepare for the interview, like that. He interviewer, that means the counselor's looks and counselors, what type of communication he has to make, and all this will play a major role in the success of the interview. So this is about the first unit of the second book. And there are also other things. I am going so fast today because if you are, I want to spend more time. Yesterday also I have completely omitted the mental disorders book, which is important. So that's why I'm going so quickly about that, taking only the, this paper is a very descriptive paper, so that there is no need to have the theoretical or conceptual things. This is mostly theoretical. I mean, not having the basic concepts. If you understand the word, you can write this assessment part. Except the reliability, validity, they have given the test, which you have to go through the split half method, and there are number of 4 or 5 methods are there. Split half method, test retest reliability, and there are methods. You have to go through them and you have to learn them. So this is about this. And coming to that, in the second unit, they have given again the psychoanalytical theories. Yesterday, I told you some of the aspects of psychoanalytical theory in detail about ego, superego, about conscious and unconscious, and about defense mechanisms and psychosexual developmental stages. Here he has given all this here in the psychoanalytical theory. Psychosexual developmental stages I have not given. I will give you briefly because these are also very important. The other things I have given yesterday. So coming to the psychosexual development, he said from birth, the development, during the process of development, he has given 5 stages of development. Freud, psychological development. The first stage he has given as what is that? The first oral stage, anal stage, phallic stage, like that he has given 5 stages. I am not giving all this. And I will tell you first 2 stages so that you can understand. The first stage is oral stage. For every stage, he has given a period. From birth to 2 years, it is called the oral stage. Where what he said is, oral means mouth. So for every stage, one of the body organ is sensitive and stimulative. Hence, the child derives the pleasure only from that organ. He said the child derives pleasure only through mouth in oral stage. So he said if the child derives pleasure while taking the milk or whatever is it through oral stage, his personality will be normal at the later stage. If he is dissatisfied in this stage, and not getting the proper food or not getting the psychological care attached to the feeding, it has an impact in the later stage. అంటే ఇది మీరు నమ్ముతారా నమ్మరా ఏంటి అంటే has given lot of examples which we can't say no and we can't say yes also. That is the condition. So he said that the dissatisfaction in the oral stage, dissatisfaction means you have given milk, but while drinking milk, మీకు తెలుసు పిల్లలు ఏదో హోల్డ్ చేస్తారు, సంథింగ్ దే హోల్డ్. ఎందుకు హోల్డ్ చేస్తారంటే this holding gives them the feelings of security. He said psychological feeling. They hold something while, so that's why if the mother is there, the touch and the holding of this will create lot of security feeling. If and the satisfaction of drinking the milk. If the mother is not there, bottle ఇచ్చేస్తారు వెళ్ళిపోతారు, అక్కడ పడేసి వెళ్ళిపోతారు. They drink. సరిపోయిందా సరిపోలేదా ఇవన్నీ, that's a different story. That way he may drink milk. He won't get the psychological satisfaction which is needed at that time, he said. So future లో ఏమవ్వచ్చు ఇలాంటి వాళ్ళు అంటే, these people may become, because it is the mouth, they may become over talkative. They may eat more in the future. Eating అనేది ఒక హ్యాబిట్ అవుతుంది. ఇది అవునంటావా కాదంటావా తెలియదు మనకి. నువ్వు సాటిస్ఫై అయ్యావా లేదో కూడా మనకు తెలియదు. So we can't say, but we are seeing people like that. So that's why we don't know to say that. That is the what I can see, that is the that is the trick of this psychoanalytical theory. We don't say no, we don't say yes. So Allah, he has given every stage, anal stage. He said anal stage where the toilet training is being given to the child. ఆ టైంలో కానీ if the strict toilet training is very strict, in later stage he will develop some stomach problems, digestive problems, because of the strictness of the disciplining in the toilet training. Like that, he has given so many things, the dissatisfaction at this age leading to some other personality disorders at the later age. This is about psychosexual development. Has given 5 stages of psychosexual development. Other things I told you yesterday regarding conscious, unconscious, subconscious, defense mechanism. All these defense mechanisms are also given in the text, like rationalization. Many are there. All these are displacement, displaced to aggressive, fantasy, like that. There are 10. All these are given there. Okay. So, and along with this, in your textbook, they are given, he is a psychoanalyst, Freud. There are some other followers are there. So because he used sex and aggression everywhere, they differed with Freud, and they came out as a Neo-Freudianism. What you say? Neo-Freudians. Neo means New Freudians. They followed they are the disciples of Freud, but still with little difference, they came out, they started their own thing. Like Jung, Jung, and the spelling, don't call it Jung, he is Jung, and other is Adler. These are the two. This is what they said is psychoanalysis only, but they have given different streama, different terminology and different concepts. But they are also psychoanalytics. I am not going into details of these two theories. If I start doing that, it will be over. So I am not going, but what I am telling is they are the Freudian psychoanalysts only, but they differed a little bit and they made their own theories. So he is Jung and Adler. This you go through them once, you can understand. But he has given in detail. Yes.
Ma'am, you're trying to tell
yes.
about Carl Jung, no, ma'am?
Jung, yes. Jung is Jung.
Okay,
Jung.
I didn't know that. Thank you, ma'am.
He has given extroversion and introversion and
yes,
some of the personality.
Personality, right? Psyche and all.
Yes. So, okay. These are the things in detail that were given there, but I'm not going to go through that because it is a long, everything is a concept there. They are given their own concept. So if I start describing them, it takes 2 hours. So leave it. Then coming to the, because this is a counseling session, if you are having any doubts, you will have one more session and you can clarify all the doubts. Okay. Then coming to the cognitive counseling. Yesterday I told you many of the things about what cognitive psychology is. Cognitive counseling methods. We talked about rational emotive therapy, cognitive counseling, all the things, techniques used in cognitive rehearsal and all the techniques we used in cognitive counseling. So what is the main objective of cognitive counseling is cognition includes 4 aspects. Remember it forever. Cognitive includes 4 aspects: learning and memory, thinking, intelligence, and perception. The defect in any one of these area leads to the cognitive defects, leads to problems. So you have to identify where this among the 4 where the defect lies, whether it is in learning, whether it is in memory, or whether it is intellectual, whether it is wrong perception, whether it is in thinking. Thinking is very important. Is having irrational thinking. So you have to identify and you have to use different techniques to correct the to counsel the client. Okay. So in this, he has given in In the second assessment, he has given about the Aaron Beck. Beck is the person who did lot of effort. He is a cognitive psychologist. He is very important. Without knowing Beck, we don't say anything. He has written he did lot of work on depression. Depression is the main, very common psychological character which is being prevalent in the society. And even the WHO is telling that 43% of the people in the world are suffering with this disorder, depression. Okay, I didn't tell you. I will tell you if I'm having time about regarding depression, which I should have covered earlier, yesterday. I'll tell you about that. So he worked on depression in a cognitive way. What he said is he has identified triad. Triad means three aspects for depression. One is three aspects. One is pessimistic view of self, pessimistic view, nirashawadam, pessimism, optimism, pessimism, optimism, pessimistic view of self, pessimistic view of world, and pessimistic view of future. This is one of the, among the triad, this is one of the factors which is responsible for depression. And the second thing is negative schema, are beliefs triggered by negative events. Negative beliefs or negative schema which we develop because of our experience with negative events. Every individual experiences negative events. If you generalize it and develop a negative schema, we will have cognitive biases. This is second thing. And third thing is about cognitive biases, means irrational thinking. Cognitive biases means irrational thinking. All this leads to emotional disturbances. All this leads to emotional disturbances. So these three are triad. One is pessimistic views, negative beliefs, and third one is cognitive biases. Bias. We don't listen. We are very much fixed with the bias, which are mainly responsible for the emotional disturbances. And in cognitive counseling, you have to reorient all this and come back to normalcy, and bring the client to normalcy. You have to reorient them. This is the about what he said about Aaron Beck. The other things, cognitive psychology, counseling, I told you yesterday. And the other Ellis rational emotive therapy is also given. Yesterday we discussed about the Ellis rational emotive therapy, ABC, activating event, beliefs, and consequences. So this is also given in this unit. So are you clear about this? Counseling, two things they are given, psychoanalytical and cognitive approach. So half of the thing we covered yesterday, and the remaining half I told now. Then the thing, next thing what he has given is person-centered therapy. Person-centered therapy. Yesterday I told you Rogers person-centered therapy. What is his Rogers assumption? Person-centered, individual-centered therapy. He said his basic assumption is that every individual is capable. Every individual is worthy. He is having the capacity to solve his problems. He is rational, but still worthy, rational, and capable. But because of the distortions and because of the events, he is not able to adapt himself, and that's why he created problems. So what you have to do, you have to bring about the capacities of the individual so that he can solve his problem by himself. You have to remove the blocks, frustrations. Because of the frustrations it happened. So you have to try to remove those things and make the individual capable of solving his own problems. So in this, that's why what he said, three important things are important in person-centered therapy. Rogers, yesterday I told you. Congruence. Congruence means genuine you should be genuine in your expression to the client. Genuineness is needed. Genuine. And the second thing is unconditional positive regard. So you should look the client in a positive way. He is capable, but because of these blocks, he is not able to do that. Let me remove the blocks. He will do it. That type of positive regard should be. Don't think that you are a counselor and he is a client, he doesn't know anything or you know everything. Don't think that. He is capable. Because of the blocks, he is not able to do that. You are supposed to remove the blocks and help the client. This is the thing. Unconditional positive regard. You should respect the client. You should respect the client. And third thing is empathy is very, very important. Empathy means you have to think about the person in his own way. Put yourself in his position and think and feel. You have to feel the person like your client, how your client is feeling. You have to understand. You should be empathetic. Empathetic with the client. Through this, you can make the client to come out of this. This is person-centered therapy. This is called Rogers. Why you have to use all this? Usually, this person-centered therapy is used in all this. I can't say counseling or therapy, whatever is that, which is used in building up human relationships. If there is any blocks in human relationships, and psychologists say many of the problems related to more than 50 to 60% of the problems which the clients are approaching the counselors is in relationship problems with the spouse, with the children, or with the boss, or with the teenage children, whatever is that relationship. In the human relationship problems, the person-centered therapy, respect them. You're having a problem with your adult child. Respect him first. Don't judge him. Don't criticize him. Respect his ideas. Then the relationship will improve. కాకపోతే అడలసెంట్ చిల్డ్రన్ వాళ్ళు ఏం చెప్పినా ముందు పేరెంట్స్, అందుకే వాళ్ళు చెప్పరు సాధారణంగా. పేరెంట్స్తో చెప్పడానికి ఇష్టపడరు. వాళ్ళు సెంటెన్స్ పూర్తి చేయక ముందే ఎందుకురా అట్లా చేసామంటాం. సెంటెన్స్ వాళ్ళు ఇంకా పూర్తి చేయరు. సో మనం వెన్ వీ స్టార్ట్ క్రిటిసైజింగ్ దెమ్, ఎందుకు వెళ్తాయి మన నా సమస్యగా అన్న సొల్యూషన్ చెప్తారా? ఏం లేదు, ఎక్సెప్ట్ దే జడ్జ్ ద క్రిటిసైజ్. సో దే డోంట్ టాక్ విత్ అస్. చాలా మంది పేరెంట్స్ చెప్తుంటారు, మా పిల్లలు నాతో మాట్లాడరు. బికాస్ యూ స్టార్ట్ జడ్జింగ్ దెమ్, యూ స్టార్ట్ క్రిటిసైజింగ్ దెమ్, యూ డోంట్ రెస్పెక్ట్ దెమ్. అంటే ఏంటి, పిల్లల్ని రెస్పెక్ట్ చేయాలంటే రెస్పెక్ట్ చేయాలి. దే ఆర్ ది అడలసెంట్స్, యూ హ్యావ్ టు రెస్పెక్ట్ దెమ్. If you respect their ideas, respecting not the person, respecting his ideas. You can correct them, but respect their ideas first. Say, మొదలు పెట్టంగానే నో అనొద్దు, వినండి. If there is any block, any wrong thing, then you have to try to make them. If you respect them, they also respect you. The relation should be respectable, not criticizing, not judging. Okay, so this is mainly used in human relations training, and this is used in application in small groups, that is in family groups or in some organizations, small groups. We use this training, person-centered counseling therapy. And next one is about narrative approach. This is also there, narrative approach, which was not being touched till now. Narrative approach. Narration is storytelling. Now, the basic core idea of this narration is the client tell you a story about himself, about his problem. He will narrate a story, with all details. He will narrate a story. Listen the story and help them, and you have to make them to rewrite his story in a positive way. This is called as narrative therapy. In the narrative approach, main purpose in narration, when you are narrating a story about yourself, what do in narrating a story? It is slowly narrated, it is recorded. After recording the story, this is the you have, and this is then if he listens that story, he will aware of the story of his life only, and then make the client to aware of the impact of culture for developing those things. Culture plays a major role. Family brought up, child rearing plays a major role in our behaviors. So the next step is, after listening his story, it will record it and he will listen the story. And we will ask the question, what is the impact of the culture for developing this? What is the impact of the child rearing to impact this? Then you have to enlarge the perspective of life in a broad way. This is not the perspective of life. You have to address the perspective of the life of the counselor. Nobody will have a narrow perspective of life. Then you have to enlarge the perspective of life. ఇదొక్కటే జీవితం కాదు. ఈ మార్కులు 99 రావడం 98 రావడం మనం పిల్లల్ని చూస్తున్నాం. This is not the life. This is part of life. You have to enlarge the perspective of life. మనం చూస్తున్నాం స్కూల్ పిల్లలు, కాలేజ్ పిల్లలు మార్క్స్ తక్కువ వచ్చాయనో, సీట్ రాలేదనో, ఏదో సూసైడ్స్ చేసుకోవడం, డిప్రెషన్కి లోన్ అవడం, ఇవన్నీ చాలా చూస్తున్నాం. యాంగ్జైటీ డిసార్డర్స్ రావడం, ఇంట్లోంచి పారిపోవడం, ఇవన్నీ చూస్తున్నాం. ఆల్ దిస్ in the narrative therapy, what you say is, you will enlarge the perspective of life to the client. Will ask them to, in all these aspects, we don't say anything. We will ask some of the questions what I can trigger the questions to make the client to explain by himself. He has to explain. Is it the perspective of life? You are going only to have the medicine seat or engineering seat? What are the other things in life? I will ask you the question. This is the question. Then he will say so. Think about your parents, think about your family, think about the society, and tell me what are the other aspects of life. So by questioning, this is the counselor's main role. We have to ask them to enlarge the perspective of life. So for small things, they said, because very small petty things in the relationships, they used to come with a story and they will make their lives very miserable, whether in relationships or some other things. So then you have to use so what is the role of you? How much you are responsible for this? And to enlarge the life perspective, and then we will ask the client to tell the alternative story of yourself, alternative story of yourself. Then this is the method we use in narrative therapy. And what are the techniques we use? Questioning is the main technique. Questioning and the client's exploration means we will make the client to explore himself, to come out of his ideas. Exploring the kind by asking the proper questions and to find the impact of the problem on his personal life. To will also, this is to map the impact, to map, and the client is asked to map the impact of, నువ్వు ఇలా డిప్రెసివ్గా ఇట్లా యాంగ్జైటీతో ఇలా ఉన్నావు, what is its impact on your life, future? You can ask them. You can use some other method to map the impact of the problem on his personal life. దీనివల్ల దేశానికి నష్టం అంటే వాడేం పట్టించుకోడు. నీకేం వస్తుంది దీనివల్ల? what is the loss you are going to have? What is the impact you are going to face? Ante then we think. Then what is the contribution of the client in the development of the problem? Then the next question is, how much you contributed for development of this problem? Then చాలా అసలు ఏం పట్టించుకోలేదండి, ఇంట్లో విషయాలు చెప్తుంటారు. ఇలా అయిపోయింది నేను పట్టించుకోవట్లంటే దట్ ఈస్ దెర్ ఈస్ ఎ హిస్ కాంట్రిబ్యూషన్ ఈజ్ ఆల్సో దేర్ ఫర్ డెవలపింగ్ ద ప్రాబ్లం. నేను మొదట్లో అంతా ఏం చదవలేదండి, ఇప్పుడు చదవడం మొదలు పెట్టాను హోమ్ సిక్ వల్ల. దట్ మీన్స్ యువర్ కాంట్రిబ్యూషన్ ఈజ్ దేర్ ఇన్ గెటింగ్ దిస్ ప్రాబ్లం. దెన్ దిస్ ఈజ్ ఆల్సో బీయింగ్ క్లియర్డ్ బై ది కౌన్సిలర్. వాట్ ఈస్ యువర్ కాంట్రిబ్యూషన్ in this problem, and to map the contribution and telling the alternating the stories and alternating the story. Then here these are the techniques we use: questions, asking questions, and realizing them. There is his role is also there, which is contributing the problem. సాధారణంగా నాకు ప్రాబ్లం వస్తే ఇతరుల మీద నెట్టేస్తా, ముందు వీళ్ళ వల్ల అంట. కాదు బాబు, వాళ్ళ వల్లే కాదు, నీకు కూడా రోల్ ఉంది అని చెప్పి చెప్తాం. దెన్ దే విల్ అండర్స్టాండ్ అండ్ ద ఇంపాక్ట్ ఆఫ్ దిస్ ఆన్ యూ. ఆల్ దిస్ విల్ హెల్ప్ టు రీఓరియంట్, బికాస్ ఇట్స్ ఎ కాగ్నిటివ్ మెథడ్. దిస్ ఎ కాగ్నిటివ్ మెథడ్. దే విల్ అండర్స్టాండ్ అండ్ దే విల్ ట్రై టు రీఓరియంట్ దెమ్సెల్వ్స్. సో అక్కడ మనం గోల్ సెట్ చేసి అక్కడి నుంచి ఎలా రీఓరియంటేషన్ లో తీసుకురావాలి ఇక్కడి నుంచి. దిస్ ఇస్ అబౌట్ ద narrative approach. So I think we have covered all the 4: psychoanalytical, cognitive, person-centered, and this narrative approach. Narrative approach. Okay. So this is after this we'll go to the guidance and developing guidance and counseling programs in the schools and in society. This is a outcome of your all this training. You have taken 2 things. One is guidance and counseling. This last unit is about how to. I told you that the guidance is a positive perspective and remedial program. This is a positive program. All guidance programs are positive programs, and they are continuous programs. They are for development, and they are for information giving. For all this we will use guidance programs. Yes. So in this guidance program, now we are talking about counseling is over. Of course a little bit of counseling is also needed in guidance program, but we are basically talking about the guidance program which you have to establish in a systematic way in the colleges. You are an expert in guidance and counseling. You have to what is that, plan a guidance program, how develop a guidance program in schools, elementary sessions, high schools, and also nowadays in colleges too. So what is the need of these programs, guidance programs? First of all, you have to identify the needs of the program. At the present, yesterday only I told you, there is a lot of need for guidance program in the present social scenario, as the changes are coming so rapidly, and everything is changing because of the development of technology, and because of the development and changes which are occurring in the policies, economic policies, industrial policies, agricultural policies, what not. Everything is changing. అసలు యాక్చువల్గా మనం ఏటీఎంకి వెళ్ళి మనీ విత్డ్రా చేసుకోవడానికి కూడా మళ్ళీ పోతే పాలసీ మారిపోయింది, అలా కాదు ఇలా అంటున్నారు. బ్యాంకింగ్ సిస్టంలో వస్తున్నాయి. ఎవ్రీవేర్ ద చేంజెస్ ఆర్ కమింగ్ సో ర్యాపిడ్లీ. హెన్స్ ఎప్పుడో ఒకసారి చేంజెస్ రాని టైంలో అయితే అంత దెర్ ఇస్ నో నీడ్ ఫర్ గైడెన్స్. ఏదో ఆ టైంలో అది చేసాం, అట్లాగే రొటీన్ గా చేసుకుంటూ పోతాం. దట్స్ నాట్ దట్ ఎట్ ప్రెసెంట్ టైమ్స్. ద చేంజెస్ ఆర్ గెటింగ్ టువర్డ్స్ డెవలప్మెంట్. ఇవి తప్పండి అంటలా, టువర్డ్స్ డెవలప్మెంట్. సో మెనీ చేంజెస్ ఆర్ కమింగ్ ఇన్ టెక్నాలజీ, డే టు డే లైఫ్, ఇన్ ఎంప్లాయ్మెంట్, ఇన్ ఎడ్యుకేషన్. అసలు ఎన్ని కొత్త ఫీల్డ్స్ వస్తున్నాయంటే వీ డోంట్ నో. దెర్ ఆర్ హండ్రెడ్స్ ఆఫ్ ఎమర్జింగ్ ఫీల్డ్స్. ఎమర్జింగ్ ఫీల్డ్స్ అంటే మనకు తెలియదు. నీకు ఏ కెపాసిటీ ఉన్నా దెర్ ఇస్ ఎ ఫీల్డ్, దెర్ ఈస్ అ ఫీల్డ్ అవైలబుల్. యూ హ్యావ్ టు ఫైండ్ అవుట్. నీ స్ట్రెంగ్త్ ఏంటో నువ్వు తెలుసుకోవాలి, దాని వైపుకి వెళ్ళాలి. ఎమర్జింగ్ ఫీల్డ్స్, అన్ని ఎమర్జింగ్ ఫీల్డ్స్ వస్తున్నాయి. హెన్స్ నీకేం స్ట్రెంగ్త్ ఉందో తెలిస్తే నువ్వు ఆ ఫీల్డ్ వైపు వెళ్ళగలుగుతావు. నేను ఇది బాగా చేయగలను అని నీకు తెలియాలి అనమాట. Chinna example, in 2 minutes I will tell you. I have seen a person in USA. He is around 27 or 28-year-old from Indian. ఏం చేస్తున్నాడంటే అక్కడ everywhere, I think in the present scenario, in all MNC companies and private companies, there is bargaining of salary will be there. వాడు ఏదో 15 lakhs ఇస్తానంటే నువ్వు 20 lakhs అడుగుతావు, వాడు 20 ఇస్తా అంటే 30 అడుగుతావు, 40 అడుగుతావు, డిపెండింగ్ అపాన్ ద యూ కెన్ ఆస్క్ అండ్ యూ కెన్ బార్గెయిన్. దట్ సిస్టమ్ ఈస్ దేర్. సో బార్గెయినింగ్ కూడా దెర్ మస్ట్ బి సమ్ ప్రొసీజర్. ఎంత పడితే అంత, ఎట్లా పడితే అట్లా అడిగితే ఎవరు ఇవ్వరు, చాలే పో అంటారు. సో దట్స్ వై హీఈస్ అన్ ఎక్స్పర్ట్ ఇన్ రైటింగ్ ద బార్గెయినింగ్ ఈమెయిల్స్ బేస్డ్ ఆన్ యువర్ అసెట్స్, బేస్డ్ ఆన్ యువర్ క్వాలిఫికేషన్, వీటన్నిటిని బేస్ చేసుకొని బార్గెనింగ్ ఈమెయిల్స్ రాసి నీ బార్గెనింగ్ ఎంత మటుకు పోవచ్చో కూడా వాడు చెప్తాడు. అండ్ హీ విల్ ఛార్జ్ ఫర్ దట్. చూడండి, హీఈస్ ఎర్నింగ్ లాట్. హీఈస్ ఎర్నింగ్ రోజుకి ఎంతమంది ఉద్యోగాల్లో చేరుతున్నారు. వెబ్సైట్ లో పెట్టుకున్నాడు, నేమ్ పెట్టుకున్నాడు, దిస్ ఇస్ ఎ బార్గెనింగ్ థింగ్. వీ విల్ రైట్ ఈమెయిల్స్ ఫర్ బార్గెనింగ్ సాలరీ. అంటే చూడండి, మీరు ఒక్కసారి ఆలోచించండి. ఎనీ ఫీల్డ్, wherever is, whatever is the field, you are well versed, capable, and you can use your capacities. That's another second point. ఏంటంటే కెపాసిటీస్ ఉండడమే కాదు, కెపాసిటీస్ మీరు సొసైటీలో ఉపయోగించుకోవడానికి కూడా మీకు తెలియాలి. రెండు తెలియాలి, ఉపయోగించుకోవడానికే దిస్ గైడెన్స్ ప్రోగ్రామ్స్. సో there are developing a guidance program in schools and colleges. So there is a lot of need for guidance for at present times. So దీనికోసం how to create a guidance program at school. అంటే గైడెన్స్ అనేది ఇట్ ఈస్ ఫర్ ఆల్. ప్రాబ్లం ఉన్న వాళ్ళకే కాదు గైడెన్స్ కావాల్సింది, నీకు కావాల్సిందే, నాకు కావాల్సిందే. ఏం తెలీదు, మనం ఎవరినో ఒకళ్ళని అడుగుతాం, ప్రొఫెషనల్ కావచ్చు, వాళ్ళు రాంగ్ డైరెక్షన్ ఇస్తే పక్కకు పోతాం. కాబట్టి యూ షుడ్ హ్యావ్ ప్రొఫెషనల్ గైడెన్స్ centers in the colleges, in the everywhere there is a need. So how to develop a professional guidance and counseling programs? You have to conduct the programs in schools. This is the first important thing. Suppose దీనికి ఫస్ట్ స్టెప్ ఏంటంటే, ఇది మీరు డిజైన్ చేయగలగాలండి. యాజ్ ఏ కౌన్సిలింగ్ స్టూడెంట్ గా మీరు గైడెన్స్ ప్రోగ్రామ్స్ ఎక్కువ, మనం గైడెన్స్ ప్రోగ్రామ్స్ ఇస్తాం ఎక్కువ. ఆ గైడెన్స్ ప్రోగ్రామ్ లో ఏమన్నా ప్రాబ్లం ఉన్న వాళ్ళు వస్తే దెన్ వీ విల్ గో ఫర్ కౌన్సిలింగ్ ఆల్సో. అంటే గైడెన్స్ ప్రోగ్రామ్స్ అని అందరికి కావాల్సినవే. ఎవ్రీ స్కూల్ షుడ్ హ్యావ్ ఏ గైడెన్స్ సెంటర్. సో దీంట్లో ఫస్ట్ ఏం చేస్తామంటే, ద నీడ్స్ ఆఫ్ ది చిల్డ్రన్ అండ్ ద నీడ్స్ ఆఫ్ ది స్కూల్ అడ్మినిస్ట్రేషన్ ఇన్ ఆల్ టైప్స్ ఆఫ్ స్కూల్స్ అండ్ ఆల్ ద స్కూల్స్ ఆర్ నాట్ సేమ్. హెన్స్ ద వెరీ ఫస్ట్ స్టెప్ ఈస్ you have to find the need assessment of the school. ఒక ఎలిమెంటరీ స్కూల్, గవర్నమెంట్ ఎలిమెంటరీ స్కూల్కి వెళ్ళారు, విలేజ్ లో ఉన్నదానికి వెళ్ళారు, సిటీలో ఉన్నదానికి వెళ్ళారు. ద నీడ్ అసెస్మెంట్ నీడ్స్ ఆర్ డిఫరెంట్. ద వెరీ ఫస్ట్ స్టెప్ ఈస్ యూ హ్యావ్ టు అసెస్ ద నీడ్స్ ఆఫ్ ది పర్టికులర్ స్కూల్. అసెస్డ్ అన్నాను, మళ్ళీ నాట్ టెస్టింగ్ కాదు ఇది. అసెస్మెంట్ అంటే ఏం చేయాలి? మల్టిపుల్ సోర్సెస్ నుంచి యూ హ్యావ్ టు కలెక్ట్ ద ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ ఫ్రమ్ ద టీచర్స్, ఫ్రమ్ ద స్టూడెంట్స్, ఫ్రమ్ ద పేరెంట్స్, ఫ్రమ్ ద అడ్మినిస్ట్రేటర్స్, whoever, ఫ్రమ్ ద చిల్డ్రన్. What are the needs of the multiple sources? Assessment. The first step is need assessment. So then you will have an idea what are the needs of this school. Then the second step is you have to select what I can say that making a guidance committee. You have to form a committee. One individual is not sufficient. One from the principals, teachers, parents, అందరిని కలిపి ఒక గైడెన్స్ కమిటీని ఫ్రేమ్ చేయాలి. దిస్ ఇస్ ద సెకండ్ స్టెప్. దెన్ యూ హ్యావ్ టు థింక్ అబౌట్ ద ఎసెన్షియల్ ఇన్ఫ్రాస్ట్రక్చర్. అంటే ఇన్ఫ్రాస్ట్రక్చర్ లో ఏముండాలి, ఎసెన్షియల్లీ ఏం కావాలి? గైడెన్స్ క్లినిక్ కావాలి, గైడెన్స్ ప్రోగ్రామ్ చేయాలంటే ఏం కావాలి? వాట్ ఆర్ ది ఎసెన్షియల్ ఇన్ఫ్రాస్ట్రక్చర్? ఈజ్ of course a building, a room or something, and trained guidance personnel. Person who is a trained guidance personnel, That's why nowadays all the Navodaya schools, central schools, and even the private schools are appointing this psychology with guidance and counseling people. Because to trained guidance people. These are the trained guidance personnel, and utti persons unte saripodu. They should have some budget also. Budget should be there, and then he has to plan, organize the activities to be conducted to guide the students. Organizing the activities. What I have to make. This trained person will understand the needs and he will organize the activities. Publicizing. Everybody should know that there is a guidance clinic program going on in the school. So you have to publicize it. Then you have to take the support of the parents also. Parental support should also be taken. So after doing all this, you have to make a guidance curriculum and a guidance calendar. Two things are very important. Guidance curriculum says what are the things you have to guide. Suppose if it is elementary school, 10 years లోపల వాళ్ళు ఉంటారు, వాళ్ళకి ఏం గైడ్ చేయాలి? పర్సనల్ గైడెన్స్, అకాడమిక్ గైడెన్స్, సోషల్ గైడెన్స్, సోషల్ స్కిల్ డెవలప్మెంట్. దీస్ ఆర్ ది థింగ్స్ విచ్ షుడ్ బి ట్రైన్డ్. ఎమోషనల్ మేనేజ్మెంట్, ఇవి ఆన్ ద హోల్ యూ హ్యావ్ టు గైడ్ దెమ్ ఇన్ దీస్ ఏరియాస్. ఈ ఏరియాస్ లో ప్రాబ్లమ్స్ ఉన్న వాళ్ళని కూడా ఇన్ ద ప్రాసెస్ లో ఉంటారు. ఎవరో ప్రాబ్లం, ఎమోషనల్ ప్రాబ్లమ్స్ ఉన్న వాళ్ళు ఉంటారు, వాళ్ళని ఈ ప్రాసెస్ లో మనం కౌన్సిల్ చేస్తాం. బట్ అందరికీ కూడా ఇవన్నీ కూడా గైడ్ చేయాల్సినటువంటి ఏరియా. దిస్ ఇస్ ఎ కరికులం. కరికులంలో ఇవన్నీ పెడతాం మనం. క్యాలెండర్ ఏంటంటే వెన్ టు what is the timings? Calendar means the dates and timings of the program. So here you have to develop a guidance curriculum and guidance calendar. Guidance curriculum and a guidance calendar for counseling. So this is the first step. First step of establishing a guidance center in schools. The needs of the elementary school is different from secondary school. So base చేసుకొని ఇవన్నీ ఫ్రేమ్ చేసిన తర్వాత you have to develop a guidance resource center also. ఇందాక మనం కరికులం, క్యాలెండర్, నీడ్స్ ఫస్ట్ తీసుకోవడం. ఫస్ట్ నీడ్స్ తీసుకున్నాం, తర్వాత ఎసెన్షియల్ పీపుల్ని తీసుకున్నాం, తర్వాత బడ్జెట్ ఎస్టాబ్లిష్ చేసుకున్నాం. అండ్ యూ హ్యావ్ డెవలప్డ్ ఏ కరికులం on guidance needs and you established a calendar for that. After that, you said you have developed a resource center, guidance resource center, where it has to provide, guidance resource center has to provide information service to the students. ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ ఇవ్వాలి. వాళ్ళు ఏదైనా అడిగినప్పుడు, నేను ఫలానా చోటుకి వెళ్ళాలి, ఈ స్కూల్ అయిపోయింది, హై స్కూల్లో నేను ఎక్కడ చేరాలి అంటే, ఈ రిసోర్స్ సెంటర్ లో ఈ పార్ట్ ఎలిమెంటరీ స్కూల్ పిల్లలకు ఉండకపోవచ్చు. హై స్కూల్ అనుకోండి, దే నీడ్ దిస్. డిపెండింగ్ అపాన్ ద నీడ్స్ ఆల్ దిస్ టు బి ఎస్టాబ్లిష్డ్. దెన్ ఇఫ్ ఇట్ ఈస్ ఫర్ కాలేజెస్, దెన్ career. Suppose if it is a college, it should consist of career information, ఏం జాబ్స్ ఉన్నాయి, అండ్ కౌన్సిలింగ్ సర్వీసెస్, అండ్ స్టూడెంట్ అసెస్మెంట్, కౌన్సిలింగ్ సర్వీసెస్, and information, career information. All this should be provided in the center, along with what are the employment opportunities information and competitive examinations information, and all this should be provided in the guidance centers. So we are establishing three things: guidance curriculum, guidance calendar, and guidance center. And what is the use of all these things? Need at micro level. What is the use of this guidance center? We have to understand that first. At micro level, it helps in growth and development of the child. It helps in the growth and development of the child. And if it occurs any delay in developments or whatever is that can be identified. So growth and development of the child, whether the child is doing as per his age or not, is the development is taking place appropriately or not, regarding the growth and development, the guidance center will take care of that. And then educational achievement. Educational achievement. He has to, how much he is, whether he is lagging behind or he is good at the academics or that. This is the, you can understand by these guidance centers, guidance process. Then career development, and then psychosocial development, problem solving, mental health, and a healthy lifestyle. At micro level, each individual, if that guidance clinic, guidance centers are functioning very well, very well in the schools, is functioning well in the schools, the students will get the micro level, the students will get the benefits of all this which are needed for the schools, especially in rural areas. In rural areas, and some of the schools not teaching only ABCD or lessons along with the academics, there are other things should also be taken care of. So at micro level, these are the uses. So everything is being assessed and everything is being given, all the support we are giving to the child to make his foundation, healthy foundation for his mental health and for healthy lifestyle. So we are giving the foundation, especially in elementary school level and at secondary school level. So the guidance clinic has lot of impact. Suppose if the guidance clinic is established in the colleges, they are helpful for employment guidance, for employment information, career guidance, career information, and also for other social skill trainings like assertiveness, communication. All these trainings are being given in guidance centers. Emotional intelligence. These are some of the things which are needed, and that training will be given in guidance centers at the micro level. Coming to the macro level, సరే స్కూల్కి ఇది ఉపయోగం. మ్యాక్రో లెవెల్లో ఈ గైడెన్స్ సెంటర్ వల్ల ఏంటి, దేశానికి ఉపయోగం ఏంటి, వాట్ ఈస్ ద యూజ్ ఆఫ్ దట్? సో at macro level, if he develops with the guidance, proper guidance, he will have a happy, a good family life, a good citizenship, and you can have a, you can utilize the human resources well. You can utilize the human resources well for the nation. You will have a good human resources, which can be used by the nation well at macro level. These are the uses of this guidance centers. So what is the functions of this? What do? They will have a calendar. Their programs, the function is mainly appraisal of the student. Other, without appraisal they can't do anything. So appraisal of students means assessment students, then giving orientation. Orientation is also one of the important characteristic, and development, and guiding in development, and also in adjustment problems. It has to give a major role in adjustment problems. So this is about the important things about all the guidance. So there are very clearly, of course, there are number of repetitions in the textbook regarding establishment of guidance programs. At elementary school level, you have to learn. At high school level, what are the programs? So after developing these programs, the next step is you have to evaluate them. అందరం గైడెన్స్ ప్రోగ్రామ్ పెట్టుకున్నాం, బాగుంది. గైడెన్స్ సెంటర్స్ పెట్టుకున్నాం, గైడెన్స్ ప్రోగ్రామ్ లో గైడెన్స్ కరికులం డెవలప్ చేసాం, గైడెన్స్ క్యాలెండర్ తయారు చేసాం, అండ్ బేస్డ్ ఆన్ ద నీడ్స్ వీఆర్ డూయింగ్ ఆల్ దీస్ యాక్టివిటీస్. సో what is the, how do you evaluate whether the guidance center is the guidance programs are how do you evaluate them whether they are doing appropriately or not? Evaluation is very much needed for everything. Whatever the program you are doing, program evaluation is important. If you find any defects in the program, that can be corrected, that can be corrected. So in guidance calendar they will give some of the activities. So we will evaluate all these activities. Etla evaluate chestam center mottanni okasari. The first thing is we have to evaluate the guidance activities, guidance participation and activities. So here based on the level you have to evaluate. So the guidance activities are basically they use 4 types of guidance activities. Academic development means, academic development guidance means, suppose if it's an elementary school, there are so many learning problems, learning disabilities, learning problems, all this will be there in early stages. ఒక లెటర్ ఇంకో లెటర్ రాస్తుంటారు, స్కిప్ చేస్తుంటారు, చదవడం రాదు, నెంబర్ ఆఫ్ ప్రాబ్లమ్స్ ఉంటాయి, మెమరీ ఉండదు, దే డోంట్ రెస్పాండ్, ఇలా నెంబర్ ఆఫ్ ప్రాబ్లమ్స్ విల్ బి దేర్. సోషల్ ప్రాబ్లమ్స్ ఉంటాయి, సోషల్ స్కిల్స్ ఉండవు, there are intellectual defective పిల్లలు కూడా ఉండడానికి అవకాశం ఉంది. There are number of things. So the first thing is you have to evaluate the academic activities which are being conducted in the activities ని మనం academic activities ని చూడాలి, ఫస్ట్ ఎవాల్యుయేట్ చేయాలి. గైడెన్స్ ప్రోగ్రామ్ లో మనం పెట్టుకున్న academic activities. So anything is missing, if anything is missing or not, then you have to, if it is a college or high school, you have to think about, it is more important in elementary school, academic development starts there, and in the high schools what you have to do, career development takes place, and there will be academic activities also problems. So career development activities you have to think about. And third, about the personal development problems and personal development. Have you given any programs for the personal development in your guidance program? What are the activities you have given, how you are continuing them? And then social development activities like social skills, communication, interpersonal relations, all this will come under social development. Have you given any activities in that? So these things to be evaluated at elementary school level and at the high school level. The process will be different for elementary school evaluation. And what is evaluation exactly means? Evaluation, what can we say? We know, everybody know, measuring the effectiveness of the program. We are measuring the effectiveness of the program. Effectiveness of the program. After establishing all these things with your, అంటే ప్రతి చోట మనం నీడ్ అసెస్మెంట్ చేసిన తర్వాత, if you start using the program, if you start functioning started, you have to evaluate. If there are any changes, you have to make it. So it is not, we don't say that the program is permanent. Anywhere it is, nothing is permanent. So in this we have to measure the effectiveness of our guidance program which we designed while it is functioning. So we will make formative evaluation. So while framing the rules, framing the activities, you will evaluate whether this is suitable or not, while framing the activities for the guidance program, while framing the inputs in the program. ఏం ఇన్పుట్స్ అంటే కరికులం అన్నాను చూసారా, ఆ కరికులం ఇన్పుట్స్ ఇచ్చేటప్పుడు ఏంటి అనేది ఫార్మేషన్ టైంలోనే మనం కరికులం inputs and how it should be executed through some activities. So curriculum input and activities to be assessed, to be evaluated in the beginning itself, that is called formative evaluation. Formation lone evaluate cheyali. This is one thing. ఎట్లా ఫార్మాట్స్ లో ఎవాల్యుయేట్ చేస్తామంటే we will ask some of the people experts are in that area and we will add some more, we will add experienced people in the school itself, experts in that particular area, and we will do formative evaluation of our program. And the second is summative evaluation. In the summative evaluation, after conducting the program for an year, at the end of the program we will evaluate. And అంటే ఎలా ఎవాల్యుయేట్ చేస్తాము అంటే ఇక్కడ ఎవాల్యుయేట్ చేసేటప్పుడు మనము ఒక్కోసారి డిఫరెంట్ స్ట్రాటజీస్ యూజ్ చేస్తాం ఎవాల్యుయేషన్కి. అంటే ఎలా ఉంది, ముందులో ఎలా ఉన్నారు, ప్రీ అండ్ పోస్ట్ ఎక్స్పెరిమెంటల్ మెథడ్ అయితే సర్వే అందరిని అడుగుతాం ఒక్కోసారి. సో వి యూస్ సర్వే మెథడ్ ఆర్ వి యూస్ ద ఎక్స్పర్ట్ పేరెంట్స్ని అడుగుతాం ఒక్కోసారి ఎవాల్యుయేషన్కి. మల్టిపుల్ సోర్సెస్ నుంచి ఎవాల్యుయేట్ చేస్తాం ఆ ప్రోగ్రామ్ని. స్టూడెంట్స్, టీచర్స్, పేరెంట్స్, అడ్మినిస్ట్రేటర్స్, all the people will evaluate the program at the end of the program. So this is called as summative evaluation. And third thing is diagnostic evaluation. Diagnostic evaluation means in between we used to evaluate the program. In between evaluate చేస్తాం. దాంట్లో ఎలాగా అంటే ఒక పిన్ పాయింటింగ్ గా ఒక యాక్టివిటీ చేస్తున్నాం, ఈ యాక్టివిటీలో ఎర్రర్ ఉందా లేదా, అండ్ వైల్ గివింగ్ ఇఫ్ యూ ఫైండ్ ఎనీథింగ్ ఎర్రర్ ఇన్ ద ప్రోగ్రామ్ ఇట్ సెల్ఫ్ వైల్ అప్లయింగ్ ఆర్ బై ఎగ్జిక్యూటింగ్ దట్ యూ విల్ కరెక్ట్ ఇట్. దిస్ ఈస్ డయాగ్నోస్టిక్ ఎవాల్యుయేషన్. డయాగ్నోస్టిక్ ఎవాల్యుయేషన్ we will do formative evaluation, summative evaluation and diagnostic evaluation. Diagnostic every step, ఈ స్టెప్ ఇది కరెక్ట్ గా లేదు, లెట్ మీ చేంజ్. దిస్ ఈస్ త్రూ డయాగ్నోస్టిక్ ఎవాల్యుయేషన్ ఐ చేంజ్ దట్. అంతేగాని చివర ఇందాక అన్ని ఆపక్కర్లా, కంటిన్యూస్ లో డయాగ్నోస్టిక్ ఎవాల్యుయేషన్ జరుగుతూ ఉంటుంది. ఫార్మేటివ్ ఎవాల్యుయేషన్ చేస్తాం అండ్ ఫైనల్లీ వీ విల్ డూ సమ్మేటివ్ ఎవాల్యుయేషన్. సో దీస్ ఆర్ ది ఎవాల్యుయేషన్ types we use. So what are the steps in evaluation? Then coming to now steps in evaluation. So steps in the evaluation, the very first thing is what are the objectives of the program? These are very important. Whatever you are doing, you should have some objectives. ఇది అచీవ్ చేయడానికి ఇది చేస్తున్నాను. వై యు ఆర్ డూయింగ్ ఎంఏ సైకాలజీ ఊరికినే అండి కాదు, దర్ ఈస్ సమ్ ఆబ్జెక్టివ్. ఊరికినే ఎవరు చేయరు, ఇంత ఎఫర్ట్ టైము. కొంతమంది అంటారు ఎందుకంటే ఊరికినే అండి, ఊరికినే ఎందుకని చేస్తారు ఎవరన్నా? దట్ ఇస్ అ రాంగ్ ఆన్సర్. ఐ థింక్ చేస్తారమ్మా, ఇంత ఎఫర్ట్ పెట్టి, ఇంత మనీ పెట్టి, టైం పెట్టి, బ్రెయిన్ పెట్టి చేస్తారా ఊరికినే? ఫర్ నథింగ్ చేస్తారమ్మా ఎవరైనా? నోనా? ఎస్సా?
No.
నో, దట్ ఇస్ నో, నోబడి విల్ డూ. ఏం పని లేదా ఏంటి ఇట్టి క్లాసులన్నీ అటెండ్ అవుతూ అసైన్మెంట్? దెర్ ఇస్ నో నీడ్. బట్ దే ఆర్ హ్యావింగ్ ఏ హిడెన్ ఆబ్జెక్టివ్. ఏదో ఉంది, ఫ్యూచర్ లో పనికొస్తుంది, లేకపోతే నేను పర్సనల్ గా నేను సెట్ అవ్వడానికి పనికొస్తుంది. నేను ఎప్పుడో తర్వాత రిటైర్ అయిన తర్వాత సైకాలజీ వచ్చి ఉంటే నేను కౌన్సిలింగ్ చేస్తాను, వాట్ ఎవర్ ఈస్ దట్. దేర్ మస్ట్ బి. లేదు నేను ఇప్పుడు నాకు ప్రెసెంట్ నా వర్క్ లోనే నాకు యూజ్ అవుతుంది, whatever is that, you should have some objective. Nobody will do anything without any objective. Similarly, when you are designing such a guidance program, the very first thing what you have to write, what is the objective of this program? కాబట్టి ఈ ఆబ్జెక్టివ్స్ మనం అచీవ్ చేసామా లేదా అనేది చెప్పడమే ఎవాల్యుయేషన్. హ్యావ్ యూ అచీవ్డ్? నేను ఫస్ట్ లోనే చెప్పాను ఆబ్జెక్టివ్స్ ఏం చెప్పాను, to develop academic achievement. Second thing is learning social skill development, personal development, right? And also for career development. అంతేగా ఏముంది, చదువు, ఉద్యోగం, సోషల్ లైఫ్, పర్సనల్ లైఫ్, ఫర్ ఆల్ ది 4. అంతకంటే ఏం లేదు లైఫ్లో. Personal life is first beginning. I should be happy and I should adapt myself to the situation. Second thing, I should have good career. So career development. కెరీర్ డెవలప్మెంట్కి ముందు స్కూల్లో చదువుతున్నావు కాబట్టి అకాడమిక్ అచీవ్మెంట్ ఇంపార్టెంట్. చదువుతున్నాను కాబట్టి అక్కడ ఆ ప్లేస్లో 8 hours నేను స్కూల్లో ఉంటున్నా కాబట్టి అకాడమిక్ అచీవ్మెంట్ ఇంపార్టెంట్. ద ఆబ్జెక్టివ్ షుడ్ బి దట్. అండ్ దెన్ personal development, I told you, and social skill training. I should have interpersonal relationship, social skills, so that I can live in the society. So ఇవే ఆబ్జెక్టివ్స్, ఏ గైడెన్స్ ప్రోగ్రామ్ కైనా ఇవే ఆబ్జెక్టివ్స్. సో మైక్రో లెవెల్లో వాళ్ళకి ఒక్కొక్క ఇండివిజువల్కి డిఫరెంట్గా ఉండొచ్చు, బట్ ఆన్ ద హోల్ ద గైడెన్స్ ఆబ్జెక్టివ్స్ ఈస్ దట్. సో వెదర్ ఐ అచీవ్డ్ దీస్ ఆబ్జెక్టివ్స్ ఆర్ నాట్, దిస్ ఇస్ ఇంపార్టెంట్. సో ఈ ప్రోగ్రామ్ ఇది అచీవ్ చేసిందా లేదా, దీనికి మనం ఎవాల్యుయేట్ చేస్తున్నాం. ఎవాల్యుయేట్ చేయడానికి ముందు యూ హ్యావ్ టు ప్లాన్ ద ఎవాల్యుయేషన్. ఎట్లా చేయాలి, స్టెప్స్ ఇన్ ఎవాల్యుయేషన్. ఎవాల్యుయేషన్ చేద్దామని డిసైడ్ చేసుకున్నాను. వాట్ ఆర్ ది స్టెప్స్ ఇన్ ఎవాల్యుయేషన్, ఎట్లా చేయాలి ఎవాల్యుయేషన్? సో ఐఎమ్ హ్యావింగ్ ద ప్రోగ్రామ్ ఆబ్జెక్టివ్స్ హియర్. అది ముందు తెలుసుకున్నా, పక్కన పెట్టుకున్నా. ఐ హ్యావ్ టు ప్లానింగ్ ఫర్ ది ఎవాల్యుయేషన్. ప్లానింగ్ లో వాట్ టైప్ ఆఫ్ ఎవాల్యుయేషన్ ఐ వాంట్ టు డూ ఫస్ట్ థింగ్. అంటే వెదర్ ఇట్ ఈస్ సమ్మేటివా, ఫార్మేటివా, సమ్మేటివా, డయాగ్నోస్టిక్, ఎనీహో దే హ్యావ్ టు డూ అనేది ఫస్ట్ ప్లాన్ చేసుకోవాలి. ఎప్పుడు చేయాలి డయాగ్నోస్టిక్ అంటే, ఇవన్నీ ఆల్ దిస్ ఐ హ్యావ్ టు ప్లాన్. దాంట్లో టైప్ ఆఫ్ ఎవాల్యుయేషన్ ఏం చేయాలి, తర్వాత క్రైటీరియా, ఎవాల్యుయేషన్కి క్రైటీరియా ఏంటి, ఎట్లా క్రైటీరియా నేను ఒకటి తయారు చేసుకోవాలిగా, ఆ క్రైటీరియా ఏంటి, వాట్ ఆర్ ది క్రైటీరియా. దెన్ వాట్ ఆర్ ద స్ట్రాటజీస్ ఐ హ్యావ్ టు అప్లై, వాట్ ఆర్ ద స్ట్రాటజీస్ ఐ హ్యావ్ టు అప్లై, what are the procedures I have to follow. Usually we use survey method for collecting information. Evaluation lo survey method ante student, teacher, parent, administrator and all the key persons in the school. Survey valandaru దగ్గర we will take information and we will assess చేసి దాన్ని ఎవాల్యుయేట్ చేస్తాం, మన గోల్స్ కి సూటబుల్ గా ఉందా లేదా అనేది. ఇక్కడ మనం క్వశ్చన్స్ ఫ్రేమ్ చేసుకుంటా ఉండే అందరికీ కూడా డిఫరెంట్ క్వశ్చనర్ లాగా అసెస్మెంట్ క్రైటీరియా ప్రిపేర్ చేసుకొని ఆ క్రైటీరియా ప్రకారం అడుగుతాం. సర్వే మెథడ్ లో ఎక్స్పెరిమెంటల్ మెథడ్ చూస్తాం. దీంట్లో ఏం చేస్తామంటే బిఫోర్ కండక్టింగ్ దిస్ గైడెన్స్ ప్రోగ్రామ్ వాట్ ఈస్ ద లెవెల్, ప్రీ టెస్ట్ చేస్తాం. వాట్ ఈస్ ద లెవెల్ ఆఫ్ ది ప్రోగ్రామ్ ఆఫ్టర్ కండక్టింగ్ దిస్ 1 year ప్రోగ్రామ్, వాట్ ఈస్ ది రిజల్ట్. 1 year అక్కర్లేదు, చిన్న ప్రోగ్రామ్స్ చేసామనుకోండి, కరికులంలో ఒక్కొక్క ప్రోగ్రామ్ ఉంటుంది కదా, ఆ ప్రోగ్రామ్ చేయగానే వాట్ ఈస్ ద రిజల్ట్, వాట్ ఈస్ ద ప్రీ టెస్ట్ అండ్ పోస్ట్ టెస్ట్. ఎక్స్పెరిమెంటల్ మెథడ్ లో చూస్తాం. సర్వే మెథడ్ కానీ ఎక్స్పెరిమెంటల్ మెథడ్ కానీ యూజువల్లీ దీస్ ఆర్ ది 2 methods which are used. Sometimes అంటే దీస్ ఆర్ ది 2 methods used by for evaluation. సో ఇవన్నీ ఎవాల్యుయేషన్ చేసిన తర్వాత, వీళ్ళందరూ ఎవాల్యుయేషన్ చేసిన తర్వాత we will analyze all the evaluations. The next step is you have to analyze the evaluation and you have to reflect upon అంటే దాని మీద మన యాక్షన్ ఏంటో మనం రిఫ్లెక్ట్ అవ్వాలి. ఇది వచ్చింది, అనలైజ్ చేసి రిజల్ట్ వచ్చాయని వదిలేయకూడదు. అక్కడ అనలైజ్ చేసి రిజల్ట్ ఇది వచ్చాయని వదిలేస్తే ఏముంది, ఉపయోగమే లేదు కదా. యూ హ్యావ్ టు రిఫ్లెక్ట్ అపాన్ అంటే ఏమి చేంజెస్ చేయాలి, ఏమి ఆల్టర్ చేయాలి, what are the things to be added, what are the things to be deleted, what are the things to be altered. So all this to be done in reflection. Analysis అయిన తర్వాత వచ్చిన రిజల్ట్ పెట్టుకొని you have to do the reflection activity and find out what are the things you have to bring about, what are the changes you bring about, and finally you have to follow up the analysis. These are the different steps. These are the different steps we use in analysis. So and in this there are certain models for evaluation kuda. Lot of research was conducted on how to evaluate. ఇది బాగుంది బాలేదని చెప్పడం సైంటిఫిక్ గా చెప్పాలంటే there are number of models are prepared models are being given, because a lot of money and it involves so many people, a school of people we are guiding, a group of people we are guiding, hence it should be very organized, very organized. So they developed certain models, evaluation models, good goal attainment scaling model, long back in 70s నుంచి వాళ్ళ కొత్తగా ఏం కాదు, ఎప్పటి నుంచో ఉన్నాయి ఇవి. గోల్ అటైన్మెంట్ స్కేలింగ్ మోడల్ ఈజ్ వన్. డిస్క్రిపెన్సీ ఎవాల్యుయేషన్ మోడ్. డిస్క్రిపెన్సీ ఎవాల్యుయేషన్ అంటే మనం అనుకున్న దానికి వచ్చిన దానికి డిస్క్రిపెన్సీ ఎవాల్యుయేషన్. ఇన్ గోల్ అటైన్మెంట్ స్కేలింగ్ మోడల్లో గోల్ అటైన్ అయ్యామా లేదా అదే చూస్తాం. డిస్క్రిపెన్సీ మోడల్లో దానికి దీనికి మధ్య ఉండే డిఫరెన్స్ చూస్తాం. డిస్క్రిపెన్సీ మోడల్ అండ్ అకౌంటబిలిటీ బ్రిడ్జ్ మోడల్. This lot of details were given of this accountability bridge model in your material. Accountability bridge model only is given, the other two models were not given. So you go through that accountability bridge model. So I'm not going to tell you, this lot of things are involved in this and it's very easy to do that. Hence you do this. So I have covered some of the things in assessment paper, and I want to say regarding the depression, I want to say few words. Yesterday, mental health, the other things you can read out here, and they are mostly repetition. What I suggest is the same activity, if given different ways in different contexts, the same thing only. So you identify, you go through the book, when there is a repetition, you follow one, you develop your own format and do that. ఒకటి చాలా చోట్ల డిఫరెంట్ గా ఇచ్చింది, అది ఒక్కసారి మీరు ఇఫ్ యు గో త్రూ దెమ్ స్లోలీ బై పుట్టింగ్ పాయింట్స్ ఇన్ ద పేపర్, యూ కెన్ ఐడెంటిఫై వాట్ ఈస్ రిపీటెడ్ అండ్ వాట్ ఈస్ నీడెడ్. ఆల్రెడీ ఇది ఉంది, మళ్ళీ చదవడం ఎందుకు, ఇంకో క్వశ్చన్ లో ఇంకోలాగా ఉంది, చిన్న కొంచెం లిటిల్ చేంజెస్ ఉండొచ్చు, బట్ నాట్, ఇట్ ఈస్ నాట్ టోటల్లీ చేంజింగ్. సో యూ గో త్రూ దట్ అండ్ డూ దట్. సో యూ షుడ్ హ్యావ్ ఎ క్లియర్ అండర్స్టాండింగ్ ఆఫ్ వాట్ గైడెన్స్ అండ్ వాట్ కౌన్సిలింగ్ and assessment, testing difference, and psychotherapy, and these theories you learn thorough చదివేసేయండి అమ్మా. psychoanalytical theory, cognitive theory and person-centered theory, you do it thoroughly, and wherever there is a behavioristic theories also very important. ఈ థియరీస్ చదివేసేయండి, ఇక మీకు చాలా చోట్ల చాలా పేపర్లో అవే వస్తాయి, అవి మాత్రం తరవుగా నేర్చుకొని. Okay, this is what I want to suggest you. And coming to the mental disorders annitlo kuda, yesterday I skipped one of the things, that is all the mental disorders I skipped, but the depression is one of the major important disorder, and people are majority of the ఖచ్చితంగా డిప్రెషన్ మీద ఒక క్వశ్చన్ ఉంటుంది, అందువల్ల నేను outlines of depression I want to tell you. So depression is a mood disorder. There are mainly there are bipolar disorder, emotional disorders are of two types, bipolar and unipolar. Bipolar disorders are depression and enlightenment. This is one continuum. Depression ante emo low mood, enlightenment and this is high mood. Okay, so this is one continuum. So this, if the person is having only depression, unipolar disorder, only what is that, excitement, this is another unipolar disorder. Mania, this is called as mania. Manic depressive disorder, this is bipolar. Manic disorder is unipolar, depression disorder is also unipolar disorder. So these two are the edges of two, one a single continuum, emotional continuum. So coming to the depression, you are having a unit on depression. Depression is a low mood. Sadness is not depression, remember that. Continuous prolonged sadness only is called as depression. Prolonged continuous sadness. Sadness రోజుకు 4 సార్లు వస్తుంది, అంతా డిప్రెషన్ కాదు. Continuous prolonged sadness. The physical symptoms of depression are body aches, fatigue, unable to eat, digestive problems. Main fatigue is there. Main fatigue is there. These are the physical headaches, backache. All these are the sometimes muscle pain, shoulder pains also, neck pain. Sorry, neck pain also they will exhibit. All these pains and headache. I told you. So all these pains without any bodily ailment are called ఎందుకో నాకు తెలియదు ఇక్కడ నొప్పి అక్కడ నొప్పి అంటుంటా ఆ ఎందుకో తెలియదంతా because of the depression you will develop that physical symptoms. The psychological symptoms are the irritation, not able to concentrate, confusion, anxiety, insomnia, unable to sleep, irritation. These are the mood swings. These are the psychological disorders, psychological symptoms you can come across. And the third is, yes?
You also hear that suicidal thoughts is also depression?
Yes, yes.
Correct?
Suicidal thought is one of the psychological symptoms. Yes, yes. And the social symptoms are and having interpersonal problems, unable to adapt himself at home, in the office, or wherever he is, outside and with the friends and all the things. These are the symptoms usually you will come across. But there are different levels of depression. Mild depression, mild, moderate depression, and severe and profound. Severe depression is there. Major depression, the last final stage is major depression. In the mild depression, all these symptoms are being seen. So if you are having mild depression, you can identify with these symptoms. Why I am not able to sleep? Yesterday I didn't sleep, but still today also I am not able to sleep. Why I am getting these pains? Why I am not interested in eating? Not lacking, in psychological symptoms I forgot about the losing interest on things. Losing interest on things also. He will be dull and he is not interested in activities or things. He will lose interest. So, in the mild level, it starts only in the levels only. When the depression is in the mild level, if you are able to identify that something is psychologically going wrong in us, that's why I am getting fatigue after eating the food. After eating sumptuous food, I am feeling weak. Why this? And there is no reason. Yesterday I didn't sleep. Why didn't I get sleep today also? Why I am not able to concentrate? So if it is if it's continuous for time, you have to think about that. If these are the symptoms of mild depression, and you have to address them. What is the best way of addressing this thing when mild? You need not go to a doctor. If you are able to understand this, and if anybody comes to you for counseling for this at the mild level of depression, you have to give them the activities of depression. Physical activities are very important. Exercise, running. He should be active and enthusiastic. They work whatever he likes. He's asked to play. He's asked to do the things, active things. Usually for depression, the activity and social interaction, ask them to meet people, to talk with somebody, to meet your relatives. Social interaction, social support, you feel supported, and friends, sharing, and try to loving somebody, taking the social responsibilities and doing some physical exercise. So by this, if you feel your life is meaningful, then all this will go. No depression. So this level, the counselor can counsel mild level. In moderate level, also same symptoms, a little bit of severe. Even then counseling works. Even then a little bit. There are counseling strategies you can use, back counseling, and there are number of cognitive methods or whatever methods you can use. you can use some of the psychotherapy, behavioristic techniques. By that, they can be treated, moderate also. In the severe depression, it should be treated along with medicine. Counseling can be given, but it should be antidepressants and some other things the psychiatrist will give. It should be coupled with medicines. Major depression లో మేము ట్రీట్ చేస్తాం అని వెళ్ళకూడదు కౌన్సిలర్స్. మేజర్ డిప్రెషన్ కి, in major depression he completely loses contact with reality and he will be very much deeply disturbed. Major depression, then he should be referred to a psychiatrist. Then you can add counseling as a supporting. Remember, counseling is only a supporting system. It is not a complete curative. It's if for mild symptoms, psychological problems, you can do that. If it is biology is involved, then you have to refer to a psychiatrist. So this is the thing which I want to tell you yesterday. And as the time is up, now the form is for discussion. Whatever you want questions, you can ask. Any questions you can ask.
Ma'am, can you please briefly explain about assessment errors? No?
Assessment ఎలా వచ్చేస్తామనా?
Errors.
Errors in assessment. Errors in
yes,
assessment.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Yes. I told you about the assessment procedures. So sometimes these are the counselor errors in testing. Suppose if you have not used the standard test, while testing errors, interpretation errors will be there. Yes, you have not, and suppose
yes,
you have used some of the tests which is not suitable for the person. In every level, interview level, case study level, your interpretation errors will be there.
Okay, ma'am.
So it will come to the total assessment error. So if your assessment is wrong, మనకు డాక్టర్లు తప్పు అసెస్మెంట్ చేస్తే మనకు మెడిసిన్స్ ఇచ్చి ఇది కాదు ఈ జబ్బు కాదని చేసేస్తున్నారు తర్వాత. అసెస్మెంట్ ఎర్రర్స్ చూడండి మనం, దెన్ దే ఆర్ గివింగ్ అదర్, దీని ఇంపాక్ట్ బాడీ మీద వస్తుంది మనం చూస్తున్నాం. ఇస్ అ వెరీ అసెస్మెంట్ ఈజ్ ఇంపార్టెంట్ బిఫోర్ కౌన్సిలింగ్, రైట్?
Okay.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, I'm not able to complete this. I have given only the overview of that, everything. Yes.
That is enough, madam.
We'll go through.
That's enough. Okay.
That is enough. It's not a regular college, no?
Yes. It takes a year. We takes a year to complete the syllabus.
Actually, in our regional center, other programs, students are not at all turning up when we conduct the classes also. Even for in our batch, this batch also, we have sent nearly 45 students. I think 14 students are joined today. Yesterday, 26. So if we conduct continuously 1 week, last day 5 or 6 members will be there.
I think they are very assured that they are going to get the recorded version. Because all these are working days.
Already yesterday recorded YouTube, already uploaded in our RC Vijayawada website.
Oh.
Already
Okay.
uploaded.
So that's why they are very assured. There is no need to come to the class. So is it useful?
Ma'am, this is very helpful, ma'am.
Yes,
Very,
ma'am.
very
Yes,
helpful,
very
ma'am.
useful.
Definitely.
Okay. Okay, sir.
Madam, అయిపోయిందా?
ఇవాళ టుడే ఐ am on time.
On time.
I finished on time.
So some people already paid the examination fee for theory courses and remaining courses, practical, internship and project, not paid the fee, and they are writing mails to regional center Vijayawada. But we tried to rectify the problem, but the thing is application form already have submitted. So it is not in our hands. once with late fee before the examinations, 1 week before the examinations, they will send, usually they send the link. Those who are want to change the, sometimes they offer the wrong courses for examination. Sometimes they may forget the pay the examination fee. For those candidates, university will give permission with 1100 rupees fine and 200 rupees per paper. They will give permission for 1 or 2 days. During that time, if any candidates are there, not paid the fee for practical internship or project work, and during that time, we will definitely help and inform to the candidate. Those who are writing mails to RC Vijayawada, immediately we will inform. Those who are not writing the mail, we will not inform, because who paid, who has not paid, we don't know. So this is the information. So today we are going to close the session, and tomorrow session will not be there. The same session will be there on Sunday afternoon 3 to 5 o'clock. Already we have rescheduled the counseling session and informed to all the learners already.
Sir, I'm Deeptamani from June 2021 batch.
2021 batch.
Yes, sir. Practicals I couldn't attend for first year.
Practicals for second year.
First year, sir, I couldn't attend it. I paid fees and mailed you. Can you please reply on this?
If you already paid the examination fee for December session,
Yes, sir.
we'll inform you in the month of January first week. You have to submit your record on or before 10th of January. Then we'll conduct the examination for the practical.
Record is already
you have to
submitted.
attend the practical classes, because earlier we have online classes we allowed. Now offline class you have to attend, prepare the record and attend the examination. Please write a mail to Regional Center Vijayawada whenever the Regional Center conduct the offline classes for first year students. Include my name also. I will attend for the classes. Like that, you can write a mail. Then we will include your name.
But I already record and submitted, sir.
Already, where you have attended? We have not conducted any classes. Online classes we have conducted. Online record only candidate submitted, and Viva is over by June term and examination. For December term and examination, we are face-to-face model we are going to conduct. So those who have attended the face-to-face classes, then only we will allow them to write the practical examination. Since you have missed the online opportunity.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay, madam. We'll close the session. Thank you, madam.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
We'll meet again on Sunday, 11 o'clock.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank
sir.
you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you.